norms. So here we are. This situation has unfolded very quickly and changed our normal lives almost in the blink of an eye. During these exceptional times, we are challenged to modify not only our day-to-day activities, but also the way we behave in relation to our community. As Americans, we value our independent spirit. Now we are being asked to adhere to the rules and policies that take us away from our place of business, our friends, our travel, and our entertainment. We are being asked to consider the greater good in all of our actions and our activities. As powerful as this virus has shown itself to be, this is an opportunity to prove that it is no match for the power of our American spirit, multiplied as we unite together against a common enemy. We have shown the strength of our unity time and time again throughout our history. And now, an invisible biological enemy is attacking us. Not only Americans, but people worldwide, magnifying how connected we are to each other and prompting an urgency that we cannot ignore. The impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic have triggered declarations of public health emergency at the city, county, state, and federal levels. In an effort to prevent patchwork laws throughout Arizona, yesterday, Governor Ducey issued an executive order which specifically designated the authority to impose a stay-at-home order solely with the office of the governor. This is in addition to his previous order to close bars, dine-in areas of restaurants, gyms, and theaters while limiting contact with groups and practicing social distancing. There are many challenges related to this pandemic, but one thing is clear. It will take each and every one of us working incredible stories of compassion and humanity. I'm seeing families, friends, and neighbors lifting one another emotionally with an act of kindness and reaching out to those at risk to assist in a multitude of ways. I'm seeing businesses taking action, offering to serve and support our first responders and medical personnel, the men and women on the front lines of this crisis. And I'm seeing strangers making incredible impacts as they go out of their way to protect people they have never met. It is times like these that we have a unique ability to show the depth of our heart and soul. And while there is no doubt that we are in a difficult point in time, I am very proud of what is happening every day in our great city. During this time, I want to assure our Peoria community that there will be no disruptions to your essential services. When you dial 911, police and fire medical will answer the call. Your water supply and delivery is secure. Your trash will be picked up, and your parks and streets will continue to be well managed. We are in this together, and we are unified with the fortitude that comes with the American spirit. Together we can, and we will stay strong. Now, we will move on to the business of the day with a condensed agenda, followed by a detailed presentation about Peoria's response to COVID-19. We will move on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine or have been previously reviewed by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion unless a council member requests an item to be removed and considered in the normal sequence of the agenda. Residents have been encouraged to view this meeting live via Facebook at City of Peoria AZ, YouTube at Digital Peoria, Cox Channel 11, and CenturyLink Channel 8509. Residents with comments or questions regarding items on this agenda may submit them via Facebook or email to cityclerk2@peoriaaz.gov. Individuals on premises may submit comments by completing a speaker request form provided outside the City Council chambers, which will then be conveyed by the City Clerk. At this time, I have not received any speaker request forms or comments or questions regarding agenda-sized items. Have you received any, Madam Clerk?
I have not.
All right, Council, are there any items to be removed from consent?
None.
All right, is there any discussion regarding items on consent?
This is Councilwoman Hunt. I move that we accept the consent agenda in its entirety.
Thank you. Do I have a second? I'm sorry, do I have a second?
Mike Fenn, second.
Thank you. Will the clerk please poll the council?
Councilmember Patena. Councilmember Patena.
Yes.
Councilmember Binsbacher.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Finn.
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt.
Yes.
Councilmember Dunn.
Yes.
And Mayor Carlett.
Yes. The consent agenda passes unanimously. We will now move on to reports from the city manager. Mr. Tyne.
Great, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council. So appreciate you all in these times and these moments of uncertainty. The City Council plays such a pivotal role, not only as the informed representatives to our community, but also as the leaders of our organization. And we so appreciate all of your support as your city staff works through this, and we are indeed following your lead. I wanted to provide you and the citizens an update on the City of Peoria's approach to the COVID-19 health event. And this is important because, as the mayor had said, the cities are indeed the front line for addressing our essential services, such things as our public safety and clean water and the removal of our refuse. And to be effective at all of those different services, and in our response, we need to have three things that really come to mind, and you'll hear those tonight. And that is to be prepared. That means to be resilient in the form of being able to support these for the long haul. And it also means to be adaptive to the changing needs of our residents and to our businesses in events and times like this. And so I wanted to take a little more time than normal to allow some of our experts to discuss this. And a quick spoiler alert, we believe we are well prepared to continue with whatever it is that confronts us. So first up, we do have we will discuss our communities through our public safety leaders, and they're going to elaborate on their status and approach. From there, we'll have Jay Davies, who will lead our he has been leading our COVID-19 action response team, and he'll highlight some of the broad coordination and communication efforts that we've had as a city. From there, we'll have Katie Gregory, our deputy city manager, will offer a glimpse into the multi-agency business assistance task force. And then lastly, I'll just highlight some of the efforts that we have going forward to help us adapt to some of the changing needs before we would pass it back to you, Mayor, for closure. So with that, I'll pass it over to Chief Bobby Reese, our fire chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's a great honor to be here. I want to start off by saying we are open for business. We will always be open for business. Doesn't matter what comes our way. We train for that. We have a very robust system in the Valley. It's one of the strongest one in the country. It's called automatic aid. And with the automatic aid comes a lot of resources, everything from Surprise, Arizona, all the way to Queen Creek, and everything from Daisy Mountain all the way to the city of Maricopa and everything in between. There is about 300 plus paramedic units in the system. So we are deep in resources. So the citizens of Peoria have nothing to worry about. We will respond for whatever your needs are. We took an oath here in Peoria to respond to the citizens' needs, and we will do that no matter what comes our way. What we're doing with our members for continuity of operations, making sure that they're okay, is that when they come in the morning for their shift, is we're having our own paramedics check each other and the rest of the crews. We have provided them with PPEs. We have about 3-4 months of supply of PPEs right now. We just ordered some more from Phoenix. They're taking a regional approach in ordering to make sure that we get what we need at a very good price. And so we're working regionally on some of the supplies. The dispatchers in Phoenix that dispatch the automatic aid have a pre-screening process where they ask the callers a series of questions to ascertain if they have the COVID-19 or something that may mirror the COVID-19 to get us prepared before we get there. And when we get there, we'll minimize the exposure and minimize the folks going in until we ascertain how many people we're going to need to treat that individual. The pre-screening has worked very well. They have picked up 2 individuals in Peoria with the COVID-19, and we went in, we treated them, and we're prepared. That's what we train for on a daily basis. We train regionally. We've been having meetings regionally through some of the WebEx technology. And so we have done some pre-planning with the Valley and the Valley Fire Departments, police departments, the county, state, and feds. And with that, we have good plans, contingency plans to share resources if needed. If it should be that one city has a deficiency in a truck or whatever they may need, then we have a move-up plan in place where they move up from bigger cities like Phoenix into the other cities with a whole vehicle, whole crews. And so we're pretty deep as far as that concerned. Again, when they come into work, we're checking their temperatures, we're checking their blood pressures, we're doing a routine check about twice a day on them, and making sure they stay fit and that they follow all protocol. Next. Staffing, should things get pretty bad where some of our people get sick, is we have a lot of triggers in place valley-wide, is that should also the calls increase, the call volume increase because of the coronavirus, is that we have all agreed throughout the valley to increase temporarily peak time low acuity vehicles. With 2 people on it, it minimizes the exposure, and it also is able to handle the calls that we may go on. With that, we have protocol to clean our rescues, our ambulances after
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they might show a quick video that was provided to Chief Reese's firefighter and crew and staff to kind of just remind them of their role in times like this for our community.
I ask all of you to uphold your oath that we all took to uphold the values and the mission of not only our department, but the city. And those values are that we're going to be there to serve the public no matter what. It is our tradition that anytime we're confronted with an incident, no matter what that incident is, be fire or any other kind of disaster, that we run towards it as other people are running away. This is no different. It's during these trying times that defines us and that the public gives us definition, is that we're there for them. We have always been there for them. So stay healthy. Thank you.
Great, and thank you, Chief Reese, for your comments on that, and also wanted to allow for Chief Art Miller, Police Department, to talk a little bit about their approach in this kind of unique environment.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. These are extraordinary times, and I find comfort in knowing that we work with extraordinary people here in the city and our department. Our department is prepared in every aspect of policing. We will continue to respond to calls in person, by phone, or online. We have contingency plans and various schedule alternatives available to ensure our community is patrolled and safe. We are a resilient city and a resilient police department. We will not stop. We will always go and answer the calls for service. We will continue to conduct investigations. We have a fully operational 911 communications center, staffed 24 hours, 7 days a week. We will continue proactive patrols within our community. Animal control is fully staffed and serving our community. And planning for the future, our plans will continue forecasting out to recreate some of the community events that are on hold for now. We have resources in place. We work closely with the mayor, council, city leadership. We collaborate with other police agencies throughout the valley. We have off-hour conference calls with my staff to ensure that that line-level personnel are fully aware of what's going on within our city and what their expectations are, what our expectations are for them to meet the challenges. We also participate in state and county initiatives and meetings. We evaluate our staff's needs as we move forward almost on a daily basis. Our supervisors and managers are constantly talking with the staff to ensure that, number one, that they're safe and that they have an understanding of what is going on. And again, just to reiterate, we have the ability to call resources in from throughout the valley from our neighboring jurisdictions. As a resident of Peoria, I'm confident in our city's response to the current situation. And as chief, I'm confident and proud of our personnel's response. At this time, I'd like to end my presentation with a short video. Thank you. Hi, I'm Chief Art Miller. I want to remind our community that during these difficult times, we are here.
We're here to answer the call and send help.
We are here to respond to your calls.
We are here to care for your animals.
We are here to assist our citizens.
We are here night and day.
We are here to continue investigations.
We are here to keep your roads safe.
We are here and we will continue to serve our great community. Remember to stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and you know, your video really encapsulates so much of what we've talked about over the last year about how focused your police department is to being community-based, how to be approachable, and of course, as you can see, professional. And so ready for any challenge that comes our way. So thank you so much, and to your department. Next, we wanted to introduce you to Jay Davies, who leads the city's action response team for the COVID-19 event. And Jay will talk a little bit about the coordination, communication efforts, and some of the other city efforts that you'll see as well.
Thank you, Jeff. Mayor and council, during the last week of February, the city manager identified the need for an internal working group, and they first met at the beginning of that next work week, Tuesday, March 3rd. The team is comprised of public safety and other operational stakeholders, representatives from HR, legal, IT, communications, and finance. Our meeting frequency has increased along the way, and we now meet remotely, of course, daily. Our guiding principle as we started this was to balance the health and safety of our employees with service delivery. We identified early on that our role in this virus versus that of perhaps the CDC was to address the needs of our employees and our residents and defer to the CDC and other health authorities on the virus itself. For employees, we developed very quickly an internal website for information they need about how to navigate the situation from a policy and prevention standpoint. And for the public, we have a landing page that exists today and is regularly updated on our webpage, updating messaging about core service delivery, virus links, and community updates. From there, you can find information by department on how to access services. We have also updated our phone trees, our main phone trees, to provide service level updates on an ongoing basis. The team identified potential triggers that we would have to respond to. We worked to help put together an exposure protocol for within the organization. We constantly monitor and make adjustments to critical supply chain concerns. We were integral in helping identify continuity of operations considerations. We continue to monitor reactions both internally and externally to make sure that we're adjusting as we roll out various decisions. And we include external partners as appropriate. In terms of our response levels, just a quick overview. As you've already heard, our police and fire will continue to deliver emergency services, and while the doors are closed, our municipal court continues to handle those matters that cannot be postponed. Peoria's water system remains a safe and reliable source of drinking water. Solid waste crews will continue to pick up trash cans as well as bulk trash as scheduled. And while some park amenities are closed, our parks and trails remain open through those social distancing recommendations certainly apply. Transit services remain available. Based on our own emergency plans and the direction coming from the governor's office, we will continue to deliver essential services. Beyond essential services, Peoria continues to offer many of its core services through alternate means, such as permit plan reviews and inspections, processing invoices, managing the election process, and more. Anyone interested in up-to-date information about our service delivery can visit our webpage, which is noted there. And with that, I will turn it back, Jeff.
Great, thank you, and thank you, Jay, and to your entire team for all that you have provided. And I think to echo a bit about what Mr. Davies had mentioned is we encourage all residents and members of our business community as well. Any questions at all, please don't hesitate to call us. City Peoria line is always available, and we will get you response very fast. Utilize the website. In addition, you can actually utilize social media and reach out to any City of Peoria employee that you see, and they're going to steer you to the right place and the right way. We are prepared to help you out. Next, I wanted to pass this over to Deputy City Manager Katie Gregory, who's going to talk a little bit about the multidisciplinary business assistance team that we have.
Jeff, Mayor, and Council, I want to just take a moment to share with you some of the activities that we've been involved in through our small business and local business task force. Just in 7 days, it was last Wednesday when we first kind of came together as a task force to start thinking about and working through some options we might have to assist our small business community in Peoria. And through those efforts, we've been regularly meeting, and we did have the ability to align some immediate resources for some of our small business, and we're working on some midterm as well as some policy items that we may want to bring to council at some point. In these first 7 days, we've been able to create a number of guides and pieces that have been provided to our small business You, Mayor, have done a number of things related to putting videos out, talking to our small business community, as well as we very quickly were able to do some surveying of our restaurants that got the notice on Thursday that their last day to be open for dine-in would be Friday, and had to make some pivots very quickly with how they were delivering their services. So we were able to survey them, a number of them, and start getting some information out to our citizens about who was open, who was doing takeout, who was doing delivery, and we've continued to expand that list as we've had restaurants come back to us with information about their individual circumstances. So we've been able to push that out through social media as well as our city website, the Chamber's website. So we've been able to do that, and we've received really good response on that from our citizens and our business community, restaurant community. We work very closely with our business partners. That includes the Peoria Chamber of Commerce, with the Peoria Forward Group, which is through our ASU Entrepreneurship and Innovation Group, and also with our Small Business Development Center, which, just to kind of give a little kudos to this council, through your leadership, you provided the resources for us to have our own Small Business Development Center in Peoria, which is going to be extremely helpful and useful to our small business community when it comes to those who are looking for help with financial resources and some of the small business loans and disaster relief that is out there at the federal level. This week, in fact, today, we've gone through and we've called all of the restaurants and looked and asked them if they would like to be provided with a banner for their business that would identify that they're open for takeout and delivery or just takeout. We're in the process, we will be delivering those over the next 3 days to all of those businesses. We're also providing them some goodies, if you will, for them to share with their customers as kind of a thank you for the takeout, for working with them and continuing to patronage their businesses. Our Small Business Development Center, in coordination also with our Peoria Forward, is offering and providing one-on-one counseling services to any business that is looking for advice or help. The Small Business Association can provide information on loans, whereas the Peoria Forward is looking to connect business to business and let people work together to try to come up with things that are working within their business. So, for example, we have many industries in Peoria, whether it's restaurants, whether it's service-related, whether it has to do with retail sales, all of these different types of merchants that we have out there. And so being able to bring those groups of merchants together that have a similar situation, whether they're dealing with dance studios and karate studios trying to figure out how they're going to continue their operations, or small merchants who are trying to figure out how they're going to keep their stores open and keep the foot traffic coming in. We want to start doing what we call virtual office hours, where they can come in and as a group come together, and we would facilitate that through our Peoria Forward, who does an excellent job with that, so that they can work with each other and glean ideas and thoughts from each other. So those are some of the near-term things that we were able to very quickly put into motion. Again, our small business concierge program is always available, and we continue to take calls for that. And we also are looking for ways, we're also hearing from a lot of businesses that are interested in helping within the community. So we've been grabbing those resources, whatever they have that they would like to provide to the community, and seeing if we can align them with the right resource, or in the case of, I think the chief mentioned, with one of our, with Lowe's being willing to provide some medical equipment and things like that to our first responders. So people are coming out to help, and people are also asking for some help. So we're trying to balance all of that together. Some of our next steps that we're looking at, we just dealt with a lot of the restaurateurs this last week, trying to keep them up and running. We also know that we've got, like I said, those other merchants and other industries. That's our next tier. We're looking for things that we can do to help them. We are creating some short videos highlighting some of the available resources through SBA and the Chamber and Peoria Forward. And we're looking for options and ways that we can help from a city to business standpoint, meaning we have a lot of options within the city to consider. One thing that we've already started doing are things like we're not disconnecting any of our water utility customers, whether it's a business or a residential. Clearly, we will be looking at trying to find some relief for them on a go-forward basis, not having late fees and interest assessed on any of their bills. and working with any business and any resident that is running into some struggles there with our utilities. But we'll also have bigger policy questions we may want to bring forward to council to ask for their help or their assistance in solving some of these tough problems. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We know that with our businesses, that we're going to start seeing it's cumulative for some of these businesses. So as we go into the next few weeks, we're going to start seeing some additional resources needed and some help in those areas. So we will work with our partners to try to come up with what some of those things may be. And then from a long-term perspective, we know at some point this will hopefully start to subside. At least that's all of our hope. And in doing that, we know that there's going to be some reaffirming and coming back into business. Many businesses have, we've already seen many businesses have reduced their staffing levels, things like that. They're going to need to gear back up when some of this passes. So we want to start thinking now about how we're going to assist those businesses in doing some of that. So there's a lot going on. This certainly doesn't cover all of those items, but these are some things that we've been able to do quickly, and we'll continue to move in that vein. And then we are certainly willing to hear from anyone who is interested in helping out from a community standpoint and wants to reach out. Any businesses that want to reach out. All of our resources are on the city's website. I think Jay shared that web address in his slide before this. So we have business resources as well as community resources in there.
Thank you, Katie. I was just want to tell a couple of our stakeholders here how much we appreciate this team that has assembled is really Team Peoria. The Peoria Chamber of Commerce, Peoria Forward through ASU, as well as the Small Business Development Center. I've attended some of your meetings, and it is amazing to watch that team really recognize this is not about jurisdictional roles. This is about what do we know and where's our expertise and how can we work together. It is amazing to see the level of creativity that they put in and how so quickly that they can implement solutions, including the one that you see on your screen, which, if I'm not mistaken, had the highest number of Facebook shares for our city in 3 hours. You can
actually,
just feel the energy.
270 shares plus in a 4-hour period, which Jen Stein, our official Facebook watcher for the city, said that's more engagement than we've had on any of our posts. So that I think that's great. People are craving for this kind of information, and we want to get it out there.
We have one other aspect that we wanted to mention, which is I think that what Ms. Gregory mentioned about at some point we anticipate that things will change. The public health perspective will change to other aspects that are going forward. And that gets to the next item that we wanted to talk about, is about the other services that we'll need to provide. And it's hard for us to completely know that. It's a fluid situation, and that means that there are residents that have needs out there and businesses that have needs out there that could fall through the cracks if we're not specifically careful and watching that carefully and that we're not communicating. At the same time, the reality is we have had so many not-for-profits and businesses and the school districts that have stepped up to say, what can we do? And our group has come up with these creative ideas. It is so exciting to watch that clearly it showed that we as a city need to do our part and step up and coordinate what we call supplemental services. What are additional services that we can provide to our residents and to our businesses that we're not necessarily doing now? And in fact, it's a time where, as we look at our own city hall and our own employees that have to look at their alternate work conditions and different types of deployment, what a great time to really look at ways that we can activate ourselves. Some of them already have come to play, and that is helping with congregate meals early on at the community center for home delivery and brown bagging, virtual online kids story time, the Peoria support effort that came through the human resources that really is helping to ensure that no matter what, we know what not-for-profit agencies are in need of. Neighborhood outreach is a great story. Our neighborhood outreach coordinator has already reached out to the HOAs to say, please let us know what you think you need. Whatever that is, to let us know, because we are going to help you respond to that. As a result of all of those pieces, we are having an internal team. It will be championed by our Deputy City Manager, Eric Strunk, but we have a number of superstars in the organization who have great relationships with our friends in the community to look at how can we organize ourselves, establish our roles, and figure out what is most in need. And that's going to be the next step. We believe the next few weeks this is going to be critical, and we're again up to that task. So with that, that's pretty much all of the prepared statements we had. We are looking at this, as much as you can see, trying to follow the lead of our public safety chiefs that we are ready and we're open for business, and that's really the way our organization's looking at it. So that's all the prepared comments we have, Mayor.
That is an absolutely incredible presentation from every one of you in this room and all of your staffs. You have to just thank them on behalf of the City Council. It's amazing, really. I mean, to anyone out there who believes that City Hall is a bureaucracy and that City Hall doesn't really hear your voice and that City Hall doesn't know what you're going through, you can see by what happened today in this presentation that that is absolutely not true. These are real pragmatic solutions to problems that happened as early as last Thursday. You know, we have put together teams and responsiveness and, just showing how adaptive we can be to find resources for residents who have problems that are not only new to them, but new to us, and just immediately put forth task forces to figure out solutions. I mean, it's incredible. So I hope that all of our residents at home are watching this, all of our businesses are watching this, and understand that you can call, you can come here, you can find people who are compassionate and who do care about what you're going through. As I've said before, we are all in this together, and that greatly shared list of all of our residents and the ways they have modified their businesses is conveniently called #InItTogether, so you can find that online. Very catchy. I do want to say that our City Council has expressed great gratitude and thankfulness for all of the people who are on the front lines making sure that our residents are safe in a time when nobody knows how safe they are. You know, you put yourself out there, you take the risk to protect all of us, and public safety is just a huge, huge line of defense for all of us in everything that you do. We just want you to understand how thankful we are. And I say that for our City Council, and I say that for our residents. We're glad that you're there, and your presentations were exceptional, just letting us know that you have been preparing for this for all time. This is what you do. You prepare for the worst. And while I don't want to say that this is the worst, it's possible that it could become the worst, and we're just really grateful to know that you are there and that you are prepared. So thank you. And to our city manager who, on the fly, put together an entire city team to deal with all of the issues as they came up by the second, practically. It's pretty impressive. Very, very impressive, and I know that your staff is glad to have you in their leadership position. Thank you for all that you do. So there being no further business, I would like to ask all of you to be careful, stay safe and healthy out there, and we are adjourned.